Hey Nesters, welcome back to Nesting Haven. Today we're heading to Goodwill to do some thrift shopping. This is the last Goodwill that I went to as part of my adventure down to an area where I was able to hit up 4 different Goodwills. If you guys missed any of those thrift along with me's or thrift hauls, I will link them in a playlist at the end of the video and you can go ahead and check them out. Now this one was again another smaller Goodwill store. And I'm not used to them being quite this small and not having as much of a selection. I was able to find a few decent items though, and we'll get to it. When I first walked in, I was excited to see all this vinyl here, and I figured if they had this much, they probably had some good selection. So I glanced through this for quite a bit. Me and my husband looked through them all. Wasn't able to find anything we wanted for ourselves. Don't get them to resell, we do get them to use for ourselves, and nothing of our music taste was in it, so we did end up passing, but I loved how they had it displayed. You know I'm always a fan of the hand-painted molds, so I saw a couple on the bottom shelf that were for Easter. This one in the pink and blue was kind of cute, just a small little basket. It was kind of chunky for the size I felt. I did not pick that up. But this one here is super cute with the Easter bunnies coming out of the basket, and I thought it was really well done. I have not come across these before in my travels. I see a lot of hand-painted ceramics, but I've never seen them before, so it's always fun when I find new ones. They had this vintage Swift and Anderson barometer weather station on the bottom shelf here. It has 3 different sections, and this is a very pretty mid-century piece. They were only asking $2 for it, and these go for about $23 plus shipping, so that is definitely a good score. They had this vintage ceramic plaque here of the Good Shepherd. It is a Jasco piece from 1979. I don't normally find purple glassware, so this was definitely something I was interested in. They only had it marked $1, and it has these cute little grapes around it, so it's just a little candle votive holder. They had this interesting house bowl, and I wasn't sure how to use this, but now that I'm looking at it, you probably put candles on the inside, and it illuminates out those windows. I'm one of those people that shops for Christmas year-round, but I do take about a month off before I really can get back into it. Even I get a little overwhelmed with all of the Christmas decor that I see, from being a reseller that I have to pack away, and I just kind of need a break from it. But I happened upon it. It was a smaller store, and I started getting back into it. I found this really cool Scottish Santa here, and yeah, that definitely won my cart. Very unusual. I was trying to decide this day if I wanted to go to the Goodwill bins or go to a couple extra Goodwills, and I just decided to avoid the Goodwill bins just because it is kind of flu season, and I just figured it'd be, too close quarters with people. But ultimately, maybe I should have tried it because I feel like a couple other stores I went to didn't have the best selection, and this was definitely one of them. I was getting pretty disappointed as I was looking through this stuff. I did like this picture here of the barn, and they only had it priced $3. As you can see, they did have some pretty modern decor, but I'm always looking for the vintage items. Just my preference, so I just wasn't finding a whole lot that I personally could resell or use myself. I found out where their end caps were, so I was happy to see that they had them color coded and figured I'd find at least a few good things here. And I did see this one piece of beautiful art glass here in the red. I loved this swirl detailing to it. I thought it was a really pretty bowl, and they only had $3 priced on it. This shelf I got really excited when I saw because there was a lot of vintage St. Patrick's Day decor, a lot of hand-painted ceramic pieces, and I've never seen these before, so I was definitely happy I went to the store once I saw this because I'm a fan. So there was that little hat planter. They had this little candy dish here with a leprechaun on it, and the prices were good. They're all about $2 or $3 a piece. They had this little shamrock planter here as well. That one I hem and hawed over. I wasn't sure if it was the best, looking one out of everything I was seeing. So Do you see these little pedestal green bowls? They had one of these in like every color in the entire store, and they were plastic. If they were glass, I definitely would have got them, but they were just like a very lightweight plastic, and I kept getting faked out because I was like, oh, cool, and then yeah, they're just plastic. But yeah, they had a few that was a little bit tacky, but I really like this pottery piece as well. I like the color to it, the way they ombreed it out through the piece. And they had this really beautiful green vase here. And you guys know I love my green glassware. This set here I was a little unsure about. They were missing the bell inside, and they're supposed to be bells for one. And I just wasn't sure if the paint job was the best. I mean, it's nice, but you can definitely tell it's a hand painted piece and it didn't have any glaze on it, which I feel like the glaze pieces just look a slight bit nicer. They look a little bit, more presentable, really. And I did find this little pottery piece here with a Christmas holly and berries on it, which I thought was kind of pretty. I spent a lot of time on this shelf. I think it's just because I like green. But let me know in the comments below, out of this shelf, what item you would have picked up. I thought they had some cool ones. This was by far my favorite St. Patrick's Day find, and they only had $3 on it. I've never seen this piece before. I thought it was super cute, but then after I put it in my cart, I noticed that there was an arm missing on this guy, and I still contemplated whether I should pick it up or not, but I left it behind. I figured no one's gonna really want it with a whole arm missing. It was so unfortunate. I really loved it. I made my way down to the dishware aisle. There seemed to be quite a bit of items to look through, so I was hopeful. And the first item I came across was this Falls Craft plain white baked apple dish. And these don't sell for a whole lot. They go for about $10 to $12 for most of them. The tea rose pattern did sell for $20 plus shipping, so I guess it's something you'd really just have to look it up and see at the time. Falls Graph just, for whatever reason, doesn't tend to sell that well, and usually it's just the people that are looking for replacements to certain sets. So I figured we're the plain white. I just didn't think it was going to go for much, so I just left it. I was very excited when I saw this pink depression glass set here, and I was trying to check them all over. A lot of times you really have to look depression glass over really well because they're just not too often in good shape. Usually you'll find a chip here and there. I sent in my cart because I just looked at them real quick, and unfortunately when I did my last thorough look over, I did find chips in all of them. They just have a lot of detailing and it's hard to see at first, and when you hold them up to the light and kind of run your finger over it, then you see the issues. So such a bummer. I really like those. I like that little sugar skull mug beside the one I'm actually looking at here. This is a cute little Tupperware mug, and they only had one of them. If they had at least two, I would have picked it up, but I'm really trying to not just get one single mug unless it's very unique. They did have this nice soup tureen on the bottom shelf there, and it even had the spoon in it, but I've not done very well selling that type of item, and you'll hear a lot of people comment, why don't you get this? Why don't you get that? And I feel like it's just a personal preference as a reseller. You just have your own experiences, and when you've picked up certain items a few times and they just kind of sit, don't sell for you, it kind of turns you off from wanting to buy them again, right? So everyone is different, everyone has different experiences, and so we're all going to pick up different things, and that's kind of the fun of it. That's why we all have our own unique picking style. How adorable is this aqua turtle dish here? It's obviously a modern piece, but very, very cute. They had this nice set in the back of oval buffalo ware china. This is a nice restaurant ware. Restaurant ware is very popular right now. You can get good money off of it. I was excited by the amount that was there, but as I was checking them over, they were pretty scratched up, and I found that it's very hard to get the scratches out in my experience, so I put them back. It was so unfortunate that they had so many scratches in it. I really thought those glasses with the leather cozies on it were quite interesting, and they had this vintage glass here that I really liked as well. This handled dish was a nice surprise in the clear glassware section. If you can notice that there's a tint of blue to it, which I really liked. I thought it was an absolutely stunning piece. Similar dishes to this sell between $22 to $30 plus shipping. Lastly, I made my way over to where the blankets were, looking for quilts or afghans. I like the looks of this quilt, but it was pretty faded, so there wasn't much I could do with that. And I kind of liked that tribal kind of blanket there as well. I really love the color of this mustard yellow blanket, but the condition wasn't the best either. It was very kind of pilly, but very beautiful. I wish that was in better condition. And this one here was really beautiful. It was in good condition, and the yarn it was made out of was almost like that, you know, that stuff they make the bracelets out of? It's a thicker yarn, and I like that it had these little balls on it for a little extra detailing. That is going to do it for today's thrift haul. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe so you don't miss tomorrow's thrift haul, and we'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.